Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to dive into another composition this week, talking about one of my favorite tunes from the album. The album is Cast of Characters, of course, and has been a tune that I've rearranged for a couple of different settings, and it's just a fun tune. That's the Guru, and I happen to be wearing the Guru t-shirt today, so I thought it would be a great time to do this video, to dig into the score, to dig into this little bit of score study on this tune. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Spotify rolling our tune here, and I'll get you over to the score. Let's get you over to the score. There's the score. There's the first page. And I think this time I'm going to maybe do some commentary as we go along here. As opposed last time I just kind of let it roll all the way, but I think we'll do a combination of the track and me talking, just so you can get the context of things right when they happen, and also maybe back up and go forward if we need to, and all that sort of stuff. So we're gonna get going here. So as you can see, it's the Guru. The full title is The Guru Doesn't Have All the Answers, and so basically, there was nothing here for Jimmy. Jimmy McBride's playing drums on this, and I just told him basically, let's play the tune, and then you can figure out what makes sense as an intro. But I knew that I wanted it to be just percussion at the beginning, and so he came up with this great groove here. Right, so he's just playing here. This is whatever Jimmy decided. And then I like to do this a lot, which is, I'm going to pause it just for a second, which is just write cue on it and just say, okay, band, like, watch me. I don't know when it's going to be or how many bars it's going to be, but just whenever it feels right, we're going to play with the drums. And it can become a little difficult to figure out how you're going to write that in a score form or part form, but I think that it works out really well musically because you can always adapt all the cueing. But I mean, these guys are used to playing with me at this point. But again, this is also one with Lucas Pino playing bass clarinet as opposed to tenor. But all right, so let me keep going here. So we just had the first cue. So that was all in time, and now we're going to go back. Cue again. Add in the bass. Arco bass, just for a different sound. First time we start really hearing chords. All right, we get into the solos here. So I'm going to pause it for a second. So if you listen closely, you'll notice all through the intro, it's mostly just the three voices of trombone, bass clarinet, and guitar, and I wrote it intentionally that way. There might be some places you can see here that have multiple notes, right? But in the guitar, I mean, and that obviously there's harmony between this, but there's no piano until we start into these figures intentionally to get that more open feel, because a lot of my tunes have a lot of thick harmony, and so I wanted to contrast that. But if you listened to that melody, Ba dee da bo da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da. Now you can go back to the intro and you can see ba da da dee da. So what I did was I wrote the tune first, and then when I was thinking about the album, thinking about the flow of the album, I went back and wrote intro to this tune so that we would have a connective tissue between tunes, which is kind of a cool thing to do if you're thinking about like also the presentation of your music in like concert format as you're doing, the recording, as you're doing the arranging. You can end up making plans that pay off well in the end. You can end up having like, you could have an open drum solo and then transition into this tune, right? Use different things like that. So you don't have to stop and start all the time, which is something when I've been playing with Anat Cohen and her tentet for a couple years now, and we play all the sets without stopping pretty much, and it's really interesting. It really draws the audience in, and so it's something I've been thinking about. Not necessarily always going to like play everything back to back to back in my own shows, but I think it's cool. Anyway, so now if you go back to the beginning, I'll skip quickly back to the beginning, and you can see how those themes sound similar, right? You can hear how that maybe sounds like the melody. And so what you want to see here is this, and then this, the C theme when we get there, which is around here. All right, so we got the guitar, we got the arco bass. This is going to become an important part of the tune. It's kind of like the hook, I guess. So it's like ABC is the form of this tune. So I'll let it keep rolling from here. So we're going to go into the bass clarinet solo. Back to the score, sorry. Backgrounds. Sorry, my chords are clustered together. There's that theme again. Notice that the guitar and the piano are playing it. Backgrounds, every chorus. And then this last part is, this next part rather, is one that I really enjoy. We're going to go back one more time, a third time, and do kind of a dialogue between bass clarinet and trombone. One of my favorite kind of solos is like a collaborative solo. I had a really obsession, I guess probably you would call it, with like the Dave Holland Quintet when I was in college, and learned a lot from listening to Robin Eubanks and Chris Potter play together. And I've always, in different bands I've had, wanted to do that kind of in different scales. And so anyway, so this is a little bit of that kind of thing. But again, we're going back. I don't know if you've noticed that the tune goes back and forth between 3/4 and 4/4, and I really wanted it to feel like you couldn't tell that it did. I wanted it to flow back and forth between the time signatures, and that's kind of the doesn't know all the answers part of the question. Like, wait, are we in 3? Are we in 4? Are we in Like, why it would keep sounding like not unsettling, because I feel like it still feels settled when it's switching back and forth, but it's like it's just like a subtle shift. That's the thing that I really like in music, is putting in a bunch of things that need to feel natural for them to feel good. Like if you make a big deal out of it, it feels really awkward. Like you have to just say, okay, we're in 4/4 now, we're in 3/4 now, and make the music flow. So all right, so I'll keep going here. Lucas and I trading a little bit. Let's go back to the score so you can see the changes as they go by. Obviously, no background sound. Textures, thinking of textures and improvisation as well. You can hear Lucas and me. Building it up to go on. Adding some parts here. Adding measures. New transition. Hook. Three times again. And then we get to hear from Alex Wintz on the guitar, a little bit from Glenn Zaleski at the piano. We get a nice vamp here out to the end. As you can see, I didn't write in all the changes. It's the same back and forth as before. We get this nice vamp and fade here. As this is fading out, I'll just show you that's something that's not on the record, but it's on the chart, is this alternate ending that you use in live performance, because doing a studio fade in live performance is not a thing, really. You can sort of do it, but sometimes it's awkward, you know? So sometimes, like, when you're on, like, a festival show or something like that, you want to have a way to end the tune that's a little bit more definite, you know? It's a little bit more clear, right? A clear ending to the tune. So I wrote a little different ending. So this is something I do a lot after having led a band for several years and getting into a situation where I felt like, oh, well, that ending, this fading ending, or like whatever worked on the record doesn't always work super well on the actual live performance of it. So something that I've adopted and started doing now, later on in my band leading career than at the beginning. But you could see, so we just have three simple themes, you know, a little bit of something different, a little bit of that conversation between the trombone and the bass clarinet playing together. It's something that I like to do. Something I like to do is to include improvisation, like for the parts, like inside of their parts, you know, inside of the piece, and not necessarily just in the like blowing section. Sometimes you want those textures, you want those extra ideas, like that's something I really like to include, is instructions to just make stuff up, you know, because I don't like to write it all out, and I'm not trying to be lazy, maybe a little bit lazy, but it's really, I want the input of the band, you know, like I think that letting people put their own mark on it is important. It makes the band sound like the band. It makes it sound different when somebody new comes in, which I think is cool, because I don't want the music to sound the same all the time. That's kind of boring. So that's the Guru. If you have any more questions about it, please leave them down below. Leave them in the comments. Leave them so we can get to them, so we can answer more of what you want to see from this Inside the Score series. And would love to get your feedback on these and how we can make it more interesting. But I hope this gives you a little bit of insight for the next time you go to watch the video, listen to the track. And I'm excited to have a remix of this one coming out at some point soon. It might already be out by the time you watch this video, but you can find that on Spotify, excuse me, by just searching for Spotify Guru, Nick Finzer Guru remix. So thanks for being here. As always, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you guys later.